This week, fake technical support. Your picture is now your password, potentially. 007 to the rescue. Shun the non-believers, or at least their IP addresses. Hacking the military with a router vulnerability. And IoT search engines reveal passwords. Jason Wood from Paladin Security joins us for expert commentary on something really experty commentary. Sextortion Scam uses recipients' hacked passwords. All that and more on this episode of Hack Naked News. This is Security Weekly. For security professionals, by security professionals. Broadcasting live from G-Unit Studios in Rhode Island, it's the show that brings you the security news each week. And despite popular belief, we do wear pants. It's Hack Naked News.
The breach was huge news at the time.
Linux monitoring tool.
List of affected devices. You can check out the link in the show notes.
Ars Technica is reporting that hackers have cracked the Nintendo Switch this week.
Tracking people's locations and stuff like that.
You'll want to be rolling out updates if you're using Lenovo hardware. Do you have a website, an external presence, employees, an office? Any of these things can be compromised and attacked. How are you defending your assets? Have you penetration tested your public assets? Start 2018 by taking a proactive approach to securing your vulnerable areas. Black Hills Information Security has been helping companies find their weaknesses since 2008. Email consulting@blackhillsinfosec.com and see how they can help you sleep better at night. Welcome, everyone, to Hack Naked News, episode 181 for Tuesday, July 17th, 2018. I am your sleep-deprived host, Paul Asadorian, coming at you live from G-Unit Studios in Rhode Island. That's right. We have some on-demand material for you that's available at securityweekly.com/on-demand. If you want to learn stuff, definitely go there and check it out. We've also got a survey that will help us and our listeners. So the survey will poll you as to what you want to see as terms of programming on our network. We'll also use that anonymously collected information to help find better matches for our potential sponsors and partners. It would help us out tremendously if you could just go to securityweekly.com/survey, spend about 5, maybe 10 minutes filling out that survey. That would be fantastic. And now, on to the security news. The FTC has issued an alert on technical support scams, according to U.S. CERT. The Federal Trade Commission has released an alert on tech support scams as scammers are using pop-up messages, websites, emails, and phone calls to entice users to pay for fraudulent tech support services to repair problems that don't exist. Users are advised not to pay or give control of their devices to any stranger offering to fix their problems. And I know for many of you, that sounds like common sense. Like, what? Oh, yes, Paul, we know that. But apparently people don't. If the FTC has taken the time to issue an alert, it means that we need to do a better job of raising awareness of this problem so that people aren't doing this. So call to action for all of our listeners. Make sure all of your friends and family are aware of this issue, which has been known, of course, for quite some time. A 21-year-old woman has been charged with hacking Selena Gomez's email account. And here's the problem. According to the LA Times, Atroc, that's her last name, more on her in a bit. Atroc believed to have been broken into Apple iCloud and Yahoo email accounts used by Gomez and her personal assistant by, and get this, using publicly available information to answer the singer's secret questions. Now, I don't know if Selena Gomez hasn't been paying attention to any of the security news for the past 10 years, but this is a really common attack that you should probably, anyway. And just so you know, if you're planning on executing one of these attacks and you get caught, here are the results or the ongoing kind of results from this particular investigation. Susan Atroc of Ridgefield Park was charged on Thursday with 11 felony counts, 5 accounts of identity theft, 5 accounts of accessing and using computer data to commit fraud or illegally obtain money, property, or data, and 1 account of accessing a computer data without permission. Last one's obviously the CFAA, and that is bad. Of course, the answer here is, again, more awareness that we need to raise for people that two-factor authentication is a wonderful thing, and you should never, ever use in a Yahoo email account ever again. Anyway, I digress. Can graphical passwords keep us secure online? And I'm glad that we have the image right here for our video viewers, because I have no idea what that means or how that relates to your password. If you put that graphic in front of you, it would really just make me hungry, I guess. I don't know. But can these graphical passwords keep us secure online? A story from ZDNet. So they say, instead of arranging arbitrary alphanumeric characters in a non-obvious and non-memorable string, as is traditional passwords, you start with a group of pictures and select some that tell a story that is meaningful and memorable to you. The story can be as simple as I eat breakfast with coffee, which is apparently what this image is trying to portray. I don't know why there's a dog there. Anyway, so when you unlock your phone or hopefully a website, you've just choose from a group of graphical icons to tell your story. Today's larger screens could accommodate up to 12 to 20 icons. As icons are used, other icons could take their place, expanding the number of possible combinations. There is a full paper that talks. Actually, that paper is actually associated with the next story. I apologize. This is just, I don't know. I think it's kind of ridiculous. I don't know if it's an effective way for authenticating people. While it does remove the password, I still think there's, of course, opportunities for attack, because underneath the icon is really just some type of digital signature of some kind. And I don't know. I can just see this being attacked. I can also see it being very confusing. I can also, if you imagine the icons that would represent some of my passwords today, they would be not safe for work in some of them. Anyway, next story, which is what the paper was supposed to be for, because there is an awesome research paper, as the 007 code helps stop the Spectre exploits before they exist. Get it? Spectre 007 for those James Bond fans like myself out there. New research suggests that Spectre exploits could be detected the following ways. So in this report, they proposed that the 007, a binary analysis framework to check and fix code snippets against potential vulnerability to Spectre attacks. Their own solution says they employ control flow extraction, taint analysis, and address analysis to detect tainted conditional branches and their ability to impact memory access. The article and link to the full research paper are available in the show notes. Notorious hijack factory shunned from the web, according to Brian Krebs. BitCanal, a Portuguese web hosting firm long accused of helping spammers hijack large swaths of dormant internet address space over the years, was summarily kicked off the internet this week after half a dozen of the company's bandwidth providers chose to sever ties with the company. Which is kind of interesting that they spotted an evil, bad person and decided to shun them, probably temporarily fixing or helping fix the spam problem, as they'll just set up shop somewhere else. Hackers are selling backdoors into PCs for a mere $10. Another story from ZDNet. Yes, this is actually a thing. Cybercriminals are offering remote access to IT systems for $10 via the dark web hacking store, potentially enabling attackers to steal information, of course, disrupt systems, deploy ransomware, and whatever you want to do with that particular access. The sale of backdoor access to compromised systems was uncovered by researchers at McAfee Labs, looking into the sale of remote desktop protocol access to hacked machines on underground forums, some of which are selling access to tens and thousands of compromised systems. A little backstory: the way I understand how it works is that there are groups of attackers that will do the reconnaissance phase, find the IP addresses, find domain names, find potential targets. They will then, after doing all that work, sell it to a group that goes ahead and gains a foothold and gains access to those systems, and deploy some kind of RAT or remote access Trojan, or just adjust credentials so that you can gain RDP access to those systems. Then that group sells it to yet a third group that's going to do nefarious things with that level of access. So that story kind of backs up what I've heard over the years as to how it works in selling access. Stolen drone files are sold on the dark web. Sensitive documents about the U.S. military drones and manuals describing how to handle insurgents have been offered for sale on, again, the dark web. Security researchers have said that some of the data has been stolen from a U.S. Air Force captain's computer, reportedly using a vulnerability in a Soho router. The information includes maintenance guides for MQ-9 Reaper drones and many training manuals for troops deployed outside the U.S. IoT search engines are exposing passwords of over 30,000 vulnerable DVRs. The Bitdefender blog says through this flaw that the vulnerability in Dahua DVRs, which are often associated connected to CCTV camera systems, have spilt their login credentials in plain text to publicly accessible IoT search engines such as ZoomEye. I'll pause there, as most of us are probably pausing the show if you're at your desk and going to ZoomEye to go do some searching of your own, which is a lot of fun. So come back when you're ready. Come back. Okay, now that you're all back, it's worth noting that ZoomEye, the IoT search engine, wasn't trying to gather passwords. It just cached what was returned to it when it scanned the DVR's ports, which is interesting that after probing the ports, they got the username and password. Anyway, the researchers report that many of the vulnerable devices have weak passwords, such as admin123. Almost 15,800 Dahua devices were using the password of admin, and more than 600 were using possibly the worst password of all, password. Meanwhile, over 13,900 devices have the diabolically poor password of, some of which is the same password to my luggage, 123456. And on that note, we'll take a short break, come back with Jason Wood from Paladin Security. Today's determined attackers easily bypass even the most advanced network defenses. Trying to ramp up staff to detect their backdoors can cost thousands of dollars and take months, even years. With Active Countermeasures AI Hunter, we enable junior analysts to detect even the most advanced backdoors in a matter of hours. Sign up for a demo and purchase our product today by visiting activecountermeasures.com/HNN. Active Countermeasures. Make every analyst a hunter. Welcome back, everyone, to Hack Naked News. I'm still Paul Alcidorian, ironically enough. And with me is none other than Jason Wood from Paladin Security. Jason, welcome.
Hey, Paul. How you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. Probably much better than the recipients of Sextortion Scamming. What the heck is that?
Yeah, so this was a fun one I ran across on a number of different blogs out there. And I decided to cite Brian Krebs' article here in the show notes. But basically, is a new way of attackers are finding a new way of using password dumps, username and passwords, to go after potential victims. And this kind of falls into the bucket again of something being worth spreading the news to family and friends so that they hopefully don't fall for this. Basically, the bad guys decide to look up an email address and password that they find in some kind of list of compromised sites. No shortage of that out there online. And they send out an email that starts off something like this. The opening line: I'm aware that some string of text like password is your password. And the victim starts nodding their head going, holy cow, that is my password that I've used somewhere. They don't say where, though, in the email. The follow-on paragraph says, well, it talks about that is, bet you're wondering why you're getting this email. And it says, the paragraph after says, well, I actually placed malware on the porn site. Apparently there's only one. And guess what? You visited this website to have fun. You know what I mean. While you were watching the video, your web browser acted as an RDP, remote desktop, and a keylogger, which provided me access to your display screen and webcam. Right after that, my software gathered all your contacts for your Facebook, from your Messenger, Facebook account, and email account. Email goes on to say, basically, you've been a naughty boy or girl, and unless you pay up a fee of somewhere over $1,000, and I've seen up to $2,900 in one of the articles, then they're going to send out the video of you watching, they've recorded video from your webcam, watching the video, as well as a split screen to what you were watching on this purported porn website. So
wait, they include a link to the reportedly a video of you watching that porn site.
No, they do not include any links. They
they just say
that, hey, we've got video of you watching porn, doing whatever it was you were doing, and split screen to, what it is you were watching. And they're going to send that out to your contacts unless you pay up. And in fact, they have something like it said, hey, we've got this unique pixel, whatever that means, embedded in this email. So I know right when you read it, and you've got 24 hours to pay up, or I'm going to start to send out notification to your grandparents, your parents, your wife, or whatever, what you've been up to.
Yikes! Now it's right out of an episode of Black Mirror. I won't spoil it for anyone else, but yeah.
Yeah. Now, and if you may have noticed from this email message, it's lacking some details, like, what site did you use the password on? And it says you went to the porn website, right? Well, I've heard that there are more than one out there.
So I've heard.
The message reads, like I said, like a lot of the other scam emails you receive, but it starts off with that initial thing saying, hey, I understand that this is your password. And somebody's going to recognize that and start nodding their head yes, saying, yes, oh my goodness, I recognize that. So that's adding some validity here to this message right out of the gate that typical scam emails aren't going to have. And so they have a greater chance of freaking out and coughing up payment. In a number of ways, this is pretty annoying, but it is kind of clever, right? Hey, how else could we use these password dumps out there? Well, I got an idea. We've got their email address and their password. Let's just send out emails blindly and see who coughs up money. It does have a Bitcoin address to use to tell you, you go out and you buy Bitcoin and send it over to them. So yeah, the victim recognizes this email, or this password rather, in the message is valid from some site out there, probably multiple sites. Makes them feel that this is legit, and so they need to pay up, or they're going to start suffering some repercussions based on the actions threatened in this email message. And people are definitely willing to pay up to avoid being outed like this.
Well, yeah, the people that are freaking out are the people that might have something to hide based on
basically
probably both their behavior and what types of adult websites and content they were viewing.
Yep. Yeah. And I actually read something recently in the local news, different scam. But it was kind of amusing in some ways. The cops pulled somebody over and they spotted a large amount of cash sitting in the car next to the person. And they thought that they had caught somebody, being involved in drug trade, basically, because that's typically what they're involved with. They're seeing thousands of dollars in a car, right? It turns out, as they questioned the person, they had fallen to another scam. And they were on their way to Western Union to send out several $1,000s to the crook. To
Nigeria.
Yeah, or wherever.
Mm-hmm.
That particular scam was interesting because they're you get a friend request over Facebook, or something like that. They entice you to engage in sexual activity online, and then they record it and then say, now we're going to send this out to your contacts. So Brian Krebs did note in his talking to people who were reporting the scam to him that the password is actually valid, that the people reported who were given this information have said, yeah, I had used that password at some point, but it was like 10 years old. And, it was probably changed when there was a data breach and they got notified on it. Brian also pointed out, though, this could be a sign of a future trend for scams coming up, where instead of just a password, they include other personal information that they've managed to gather up to make the message look more legitimate. Certainly a password dump, though, is really easy, right? I mean, if you just have the pair of the username or email address and a password, and so you can cobble together a script really easy with that. Totally illegitimate, totally bunk, but it's something to spread the word out there to your friends and family. The mention of porn may make some folks uncomfortable, but so will shelling out several $1,000s to try and cover up what they may or may not have done. Let people know, again, this is back kind of like the tech support scam. It looks like an obvious scam to us, but somebody else, they react to stuff like this and freak out. So want to make sure people are aware that this is just another way people are trying to steal from them.
Jason Wood from Paladin Security, thank you for your expert commentary today. And that will conclude this episode of Hack Naked News. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. See you next time.